This is the Sukhoi SU57. It was a model built by LX Models as the T50, which was the previous designator for this aircraft. Recently, I guess it's been changed to SU57 officially. This is a model that has had its share of problems. Stock, so there's a lot of modifications in this model. It has thrust vectoring. It has two 70mm EDFs, 6S. I've done a lot of modifications I'll explain to you. First of all, front nose gear, I've changed it. It is now a, this is from the F4, LX F4. I've put a lot of lighting on this model, and the lighting is basically from Freewing. Yeah, those of you who build these models know that that's the landing light from Freewing models. I've added nav lights. I've added cheaters for the fans. And a little bit about the fan system. Fans are FMS 12 blade 1865 kV motors on 6S. Let me show you. I've added a hatch here because the model itself, the battery compartment is in the front, and it really limits the type of batteries you can use. It's supposed to have 2 3S units in series, whereas this way I can use all my other batteries that are, not. Otherwise, I would have to buy a whole bunch of new ones, and not that I didn't have any, but I thought that this would be a better solution for me. So I went ahead and used that and put the receiver here. I have a Lemon receiver, 10 channel. I'm going to try the A3 Super 2 gyro. Let's see how that does. Landing gear module for LX, which is peculiar, but it works. I have the lighting system from Freewing. I always add a cap to my receivers. It's a capacitor here, and also I have a 20 amp back. It may be a little overkill, but I'd rather have more than less. And that is basically providing power to the receiver and the gyro at the same time. In the past, I've had issues with brownouts on the receiver because the gyro is pulling too many amps from the system and causing the receiver to go to a brownout. In the front, I guess this was supposed to have the battery in here. There's nothing here, except when I moved the battery back to here, and considering the weight back here with the EDFs, obviously what happens is you're going to have to add weight. So I added around 300 grams in the front. I think this airframe can handle it. My Sukhoi 35 does, no big deal. But that's the drawback for this change, is that you'd have to add a little weight in the front. But I'll take it because I can use all my other batteries. And you see this space is kind of limited of the size of batteries you can take too. Also, I didn't mention my ESCs are 80 amp hobby wings. I tried the YEP 100s in series. I mean, I soldered them together, and that didn't work out very well. It basically refused to cooperate. Long story there. I won't bore you. I tried everything. It just didn't work. It might have been a bad batch of YEP ESCs. I bought them about 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago, and I think it had issues back then. But I have other YEP ESCs that work perfectly. I use them on my helicopters, and no issues there. So, but these two guys weren't working right. Then I tried the Turnigy Plush 3200 amps, two of them. They were really not controlling the motors properly. I did everything you can imagine with the programming, didn't work. The motors kept stuttering, and it didn't do a good job. So I swapped them out to the trusty Hobby Wing 80 amp ESCs, and they worked perfect. In the back, I'm using, as you can see, I'm using these rods here. I've reinforced it, and I'm using this aluminum clevis, which is pretty interesting. I like it. I bought these from Hobby Wing. I don't know if they still have them, but they're very good. I love them. I've reinforced the tail on this thing significantly. You could see that I added a plate, but in addition to the plate, I've added bars that go in this way, 1, 2, and I've also added bars that go this way, carbon fiber bars that extend from the top here all the way down. The hinges have been changed to Robart big hinges. It basically penetrates all the way in here, and it's about 5 millimeters thick. 3 of them. This design is really bad in my opinion, but you got to make do with it. So I've added a bar that goes from here, goes in. This is done by Rich from RC Informer as well, and others. It goes all the way through and to the other side. They meet here. They're actually 2 bars that go into a foam box underneath here and just glued into there. It added a lot of strength to this. In addition, I put plates here to reinforce the foam. This is my 4th attempt at building this model. On the first 3 attempts, 2 of them crashed because of the elevator failing. And I have videos on my YouTube channel that show that. Just look up SU50. At the time it was SU50, then it was first T50, then SU50, and now SU57. But yeah, I'm trying to tell you whatever I can remember on this. I added some lock nuts here, and these don't come. The bolt doesn't come with the package that this thing comes. It's just a screw. So I figured it's best to lock it. Not that it's going to go anywhere, but anyhow. I've done the same for all control surfaces, even the flaps. I also have the brakes. These brakes are from RC Lander. These are pretty old. I mean, they're about 3 or 4 or 5 years old technology. They work. I like the fact that this wheel is thick. It looks nicer on this model. The JP brakes are thin and didn't really look right, but anyhow, I ran out of JP brakes, and I don't think this model needs brakes, but I just like these wheels. These wheels are nice. I also added a protector for the thrust vectoring here for the servo horn. You don't want that to hit the ground in case you have a high alpha landing or something like that. The servos. I'm using the Turnigy S306G non-HV. This is, I think, 3 kilograms per centimeter torque capability on, I think, 6S. Yeah, 6 volts. And I'm running this at 5.5 volts. So that should be okay. What else? This is it. We're gonna maiden her. Hopefully she'll come back in one piece. The throws are set similar to my SU35 from Freewing. Only reason is because LX doesn't provide any throws. The neutral positions are also based on my experience on the other guys that I did. this is basically neutral right there for the elevator, which is the most kind of weird surface to neutralize, but we'll see how that goes. I've neutralized it from the bottom. Anyhow, let's see how it does.